Are you currently majoring in something that isn't something you actually enjoy? Are you delusional and thinking that you're going to be able to succeed in a field where you actually hate the work that you do, but you just picked it because your parents told you to? The next few years of your life will be filled with disappointment, regret, and a feeling of being lost because you just spent 4 years of your life and a shit ton of money working towards something you didn't actually want. It doesn't have to be this way. I majored in biomedical engineering, and I also was able to work in top biomedical engineering firms throughout my time in college. At the end of my career, though, I ended up with a 6-figure salary working in a completely different field, software engineering. So how did I do it? And why did I do it? Simply put, I used Kaizen, or continuous improvement, in order to ensure that the future that I wanted was the future that I was going to get. But how did I apply Kaizen? How did I get a career making over 6 figures in a field completely different than the one I started in? I'll show you how. After my first internship, I was really unhappy. I kind of figured out that even though I liked all the people I worked with and the situation that I was in, most work as an engineer boils down to sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours and just doing something in the software that your company owns or your company works in. And that's like every job. You get to your computer, you open up a software, you put things inside that software, you design things in a software, you print things, you send it off to a software. Everything relies on software. A good history professor of mine once told me this fact. The people in the gold rush who made the most amount of money weren't the prospectors trying to find the gold and really strike it rich. It was the people who sold the shovels and the pickaxes and the jeans and the things that people actually needed, the backbone. So I was asking myself, why am I the one digging the holes, as in doing the grunt work, using the software, using SolidWorks, using CAD, when I could be the one building the software and selling the software? That way, I wouldn't have to continuously create new products. All I would have to do is create a product, continuously update it, make it maybe a little bit better or keep it the way it is, and then it'd be way less work and I'd make way more money for it because you can charge somebody for their entire life. That's what SaaS essentially is. So what I did here was identify my problem. And that's one of the first parts of Kaizen, identifying what problem there is. I identified that I didn't enjoy my work because I knew I had to use somebody else's software in order to get my job done. I wasn't creating my own things. I was using another company's product to create my product. So why can't I just be the company that creates the product in the first place? I wanted to be the one who empowered others. I wanted to be the one who an entire industry relied on. After this internship, I had to come to a decision. I was on track to graduate with my biomedical engineering degree, but I also had space to fill up my class schedule with electives and general electives. Rather than continuously improving on my biomedical engineering performance, which I knew was something that I didn't really enjoy, I started learning and developing new skills in the software field. And that started with taking Introduction to Software Engineering. This was really difficult because I was not only taking my biomedical engineering classes, but also software engineering classes on top of that, and at a master's level because I couldn't go back to the freshman year level and get the skills from there. Therefore, I willingly enrolled in 20 credits over the next semester. I grinded my ass off, studied every single night, and I was able to develop some skills as a software engineer, but nowhere near the level that I needed to be in order to become a full-time software engineer. Also, since most of the classes I took were introduction classes, I didn't actually get many opportunities to get into the weeds of software engineering. I'm a big fan of software architecture and understanding the bigger picture. And when you start with Introduction to Software Engineering, you're usually limited to very basic topics and very basic things, like what is waterfall, what is agile, questions like that. Not really so much developing your own software or observing and breaking down other people's software. I felt like I was kind of limited in my experience, and the classes that I took kind of just compounded that. My solution wasn't working out. I knew that with the skills that I had, only taking introduction software engineering courses, I needed to be able to put something on my resume that would make me a legit software engineer. And I found the best opportunity possible. That was working at a clinical software company, one that needed my biomedical engineering skills, but where I could also learn and develop my skills as a software engineer. And I eventually landed a role at a software company in New York. There, I worked the entire summer gaining skills and learning my best on how to continuously improve as a software engineer. I was effectively learning and networking as much as possible, and I really took my time to understand that Even though may not know what I am doing at a software level, I can still network, I can still make the most of this experience, and I can still become the best version of myself that I possibly could be. So I didn't give up, even though I felt like my solution wasn't working. So although I had a problem in the beginning that I thought I could solve with finding a role at a clinical software engineering company, I didn't realize that the level of skill needed to be a software engineer in New York is much different than I expected. People who worked with me were from prestigious schools. They're all very, very experts in their field. And I struggled a little bit in terms of being able to communicate with them and being able to work at the same level as them. I mainly focused on making mock-ups, doing presentations, and doing a lot of the business aspect. I really enjoyed that business stuff, doing customer outreach, giving calls to clients across the world, and I learned the skill of talking and communicating effectively. So not only did I get a lot of software engineering experience, but I also gained a lot of business experience. So as the same summer came to a close, I had a chance to kind of renew my understanding of software engineering, and I again enrolled in more than 20 credits throughout my final senior year. Senior year is supposed to be really chill and very relaxed, but definitely was not for me. I was fortunate enough to be taking classes that I actually enjoyed. I had professors that were experts in their field, and I fell in love with software architecture and a bunch of other skills that really made it so that I knew what I was doing in software engineering, and I had the skills to finally get a role. Every single day during those 20 credit semesters, I worked my ass off to get to the level that I needed to be in order to become a software engineer. I used websites like Udemy, Skillshare, LinkedIn Learning, and roadmap.sh in order to really hone my skill and continuously improve day in and day out. I would say, paid content aside, YouTube is definitely one of the best places to learn a new skill. If you have the time to sift through and learn from videos, there is a myriad of options out there to learn a new skill and really develop your skills. So after completing my degree as a biomedical engineer, I reapplied for that job at that software company, that clinical software company. Unfortunately, I didn't get the role. Even after all of this, even after the 20 credits and studying and putting a lot of effort and work into trying to get that role back at the clinical software company, I unfortunately was not accepted. But I did not let this deter me. And that's something that I really am proud of myself at. And I think that really demonstrates how this concept of Kaizen helped me improve and continue even when the times were really tough. And if you graduated in 2024, you know that the job market was really difficult, especially for biomedical engineers, software engineers, and almost every engineer alike. The bubble was bursting. But I did not let this deter me again. I took all of those skills that I had as a software engineer. I compiled it all into my resume. I asked my professor hundreds of times how to make my resume better, how to make my interviewing skills better, how to make everything better. And I put myself out there and I applied to as many roles as possible. And I ended up with a role as a software engineer. This was the thing that set me apart, I feel like. I continuously failed. I went to a job that I didn't enjoy. I looked for another job and I was not accepted to it. But I didn't let that deter me from continuously improving and continuously taking a step towards greatness every single day. Without the skills that I gained during that time trying to work towards my role at the clinical software company, I wouldn't have the role that I have now as a software engineer at another company. So it all worked out in the end. Analyzing your results, thinking back about what you did right and what you did wrong is really important. And this video is kind of me doing it. It's applying Kaizen. So let's go back and kind of dissolve everything that I did and analyze my results and see what I could have done better. I found the problem that I was struggling with, and that was my dissatisfaction with my job as a biomedical engineer. Even though I thought that I enjoyed my job, I thought that everything was going to be great when I came out of school, I knew that the work that I was doing was using other people's software. And if I can be the one making the software, I could be making more money than I would be using the software, not digging the holes, selling the shovels. So then in order to become a software engineer, I had to apply solutions. I did my best to find roles that were specific towards me, biomedical engineer with an interest in software engineering. And I found a job at a clinical research company that made software. After that internship, I thought I was in the clear. I continuously applied myself and kept trying to improve in order to get back at that role, but I unfortunately failed. So then what did I do? I didn't give up and go back to biomedical engineering. I applied myself again, took those 20 credit course loads, and I was able to succeed and find a role before I even graduated. By using Kaizen, I was able to improve every single day continuously, change what I was doing before, and find the role that I actually enjoy. I graduated this year with my bachelor's in engineering, and without Kaizen, I don't think I would have been able to do it. I didn't drop everything for biomedical engineering and jump all the way to software engineering. I knew that I still enjoyed biomedical engineering, and I didn't cut my losses. I kept improving daily and adding on to the things that I was already learning. The Kaizen mindset thus gave me a six-figure job, a happy life, and the ability to provide for myself and make videos like this, which I really enjoy. If you got this far in the video, I'm guessing you're wondering, how can I apply Kaizen to my life? I will let you guys know that Kaizen comes from within. You have to be willing to sacrifice something in order to get something out of it. If you are failing in one aspect of your life, whether it be relationships, whether it be work, whether it be family, anything, you need to first identify the problem. As soon as you can identify the problem, then you can start working with solutions. And with those solutions, you can continuously get better and iterate on that solution every single time. At the end of it, you can ask yourself, hey, did my solutions work? And if they did, then great. You solve the problem, you put something into your routine that's going to change your life forever. And if you have another problem, you know you can solve that problem and do it again. And if you have the ability to solve one problem, you have the ability to solve many. The other problem that I have is the success of this channel. I really want to find a separate source of income and make money doing YouTube and providing value for you guys. So if you leave a like and subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. This is Matt from the Alive Company. I hope you learned something, and have a nice day.